Senator from Illinois.
Remaining in the period allotted to Democrats.
4 minutes, 20 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. President. I see Senator Coburn's on the floor, and I assume he's the first speaker on the Republican side. Thank you. I'd just like to thank the Senator from Minnesota for his comments on our budget situation. For the many who have gathered here in watching this at home and listening to this debate, this is an historic weekend where we have an opportunity, in fact a challenge, to come forward and craft a bipartisan solution which is good for this country and avoids the disaster that would happen Tuesday night if we fail to extend our debt ceiling. The United States of America has never failed to extend its debt, not once. And in the last 72 years since we enacted this law, we have had requests from presidents on both sides of the aisle to extend the debt ceiling 89 times, 55 times by Republicans, 34 times by Democrats. The president who holds the record for extending the debt ceiling, President Ronald Reagan, 18 times in 8 years, tripling the national debt. Not once, not one time did he face what we're facing here, a threat from the other side of the aisle that if we don't give in to their request, we will default on our national debt. That would be a catastrophe. It is one thing to call a bluff. It's another thing to call a bluff with someone else's chips. Because the victims, if we default on this debt, will not be members of Congress. The victims will be families and businesses all across the United States. If we watch interest rates go up as we're in the midst of an economic recovery, people will be laid off. More people will be unemployed. That is exactly the wrong thing to do. We need to come to an agreement. We need to come to our senses. And what the American people have told us across the board is we need to reduce spending, to reduce our deficit. We need to do it in a sensible way, as the senator from Minnesota said, to carefully choose those areas of waste and inefficiency and unnecessary spending, but not to cut the essential benefits that people need. You will hear those come to the floor and say, well, we're just spending more money. Well, the obvious answer is, in some respects, we are. But keep in mind this one statistic. On January 1st of this year, 10,000 Americans reached the age of 65. On January 2nd, another 10,000. On January 3rd, again. And every day since January 1st and every day for the next 19 and a half years, the baby boomers are now reaching retirement age. Having paid into Social Security and Medicare for a lifetime, they fully expect and deserve the legal benefits that they have been promised. That is a new obligation of government, but one that we accepted when we enrolled them in the system. Now we can find ways to make sure those benefits are going to be guaranteed into the future with sensible changes in entitlement programs and with sensible changes in our spending. I find it hard to believe that many on the other side are arguing they can't find one penny that can be saved in the Pentagon. I think we can save money there without endangering our security. I find it also difficult to understand the argument that we can't raise one penny in taxes on the wealthiest people in America if we're asking everyone else across the board to sacrifice. We've got to have a balanced approach. The presiding officer from Virginia was part of a group of 6 senators, 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans. We have been joined in our effort by the senator from Colorado, Senator Bennett, trying to find a bipartisan way to deal with this deficit situation. I am heartened to say that some 36 senators have come forward on both sides of the aisle saying we can deal with this as adults, we can deal with it in a comprehensive and balanced way, we can keep our promise to people when it comes to the basic programs like Social Security and Medicare, and we can do it in a fashion that reduces our deficit and avoids the crisis which we are facing. So I hope I see the senator from Oklahoma here. He was part of that gang. It seems like we've all gathered here on the floor at this moment. Many of us have. And I would hope that in that spirit we can come to a bipartisan agreement to resolve the current crisis.